Hello, and welcome to Conversations with God, narrated by yours truly, Carlos Head. And I hope that you're doing absolutely fabulous this day, in spite of all the challenges that you may be experiencing, whether it be with COVID-19 and the restrictions that have been placed on us to shelter in place and to social distance ourselves from others, whether you're dealing with the financial repercussions of this pandemic that we're dealing with, or maybe something else that you're dealing with, and you're looking for a recipe, or you're looking for some advice or some direction to move forward in helping you to be better, do better, and then as a result of your thinking and your doing, manifest or possess better. And on today, I want to talk from the subject just briefly, setting the stage. Setting the stage. And I was given this message because God wanted us to understand the importance of how we start our journey. Setting the stage for the journey. And the question I have to ask, just right out the box, is how are you starting your journey each day? How are you starting your journey each and every day? It's a question that we must ask ourselves, because typically, the start of our day may not determine whether or not we manifest our desires, but the way that we start our day certainly has an impact in terms of how we engage others, in terms of how pleasant we are to others that may very well be traveling this journey with us. How are you starting your journey each and every day? And I'm just here to say that I believe that is utterly important, vitally important, that we set the stage to make sure that we're starting our journeys each and every day the right way, on the right foot. And because God is the ultimate stage setter, because he sets the stage for all of us, I just believe that it would behoove us and it would benefit us tremendously if we would begin our days recognizing that he is the stage setter, and without him there is no us. There is nothing that we can do. So I just believe that if we are to start our journeys, and if every day represents a journey that we must endure and move through, that it becomes important that we begin the journey the right way. And again, if God is the ultimate stage setter and there is no life without him, then I just believe that we should start each day with gratitude, being thankful, not because we woke ourselves up, not because we're rich, not because we have everything that we desire, not because everything is moving according to our timetable, according to our will, but grateful that he, in his infinite mercy and in his infinite love for us, decided to wake us up in our right minds, decided to bless us, to be able to see one another and to interact with one another. Blessings that extend beyond our capacity to bless ourselves. So if we're going to start and set the stage for a prosperous and an enjoyable day, I just believe that it's almost impossible to truly start our days setting the stage for a productive and a positive and a day that lets our light so shine before men that they see our good works, without starting that day in a state of gratitude. Grateful for what he's done for us, not necessarily because he's done everything that we've asked, but because he's done enough for us to empower us to be able to do the things that we need to do this day along our journeys. How are you setting the stage for your day? And again, because God is the ultimate stage setter, again, irrespective of what you call him, you may call him Jehovah, you may call him Allah, you may call him Yahweh, but at the end of the day, humanity's creator sets the stage for all of us. And he empowers us to be able to do the things that we need to do. So I just believe that it's imperative to ensure that we are starting on the right foot, the right way, setting the stage for the type of day that we would have, the type of days that we desire, that we begin in a state of gratitude for the ultimate stage setter, that we begin the day recognizing his love for us. See, because again, I don't care how strong you are. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how much you're loved by your family. I don't care how much you love them. I don't care how many vacations or homes or automobiles you have. If the stage setter, if the ultimate stage setter decides that he's not going to allow you to journey this day, and he's going to call an end to your physical manifestation in this earth, then it's over. And all the money in the world can't bring you back. This is why I believe Jesus asked the question, what profited a man to gain the whole world but lose his soul? Because when it's over, it's over. And I just believe that it helps us to create the type of energy that's needed to have a blessed and prosperous day by beginning that day by setting the stage. Setting the stage. Again, it's like a performance. And if you've gone to a theater, you know that before the play begins, they've already set the stage. They've already put the props in place. They've already told the actors where to be when this production begins. And I just believe that if we're going to manifest the type of productions that we desire in our lives, that it's important that we too begin to set the stage that's capable of manifesting those things that we desire in our lives. And again, because God is the ultimate stage setter, I believe that it's important that we recognize him. This is why, in part, why I believe that COVID exists, because we became too arrogant. We thought it was about what we were doing, and we forgot that there is no us without him. And I believe that he had to rein us back in so that we understand who he is versus who we are, so that we not get so high that we find ourselves feeling as if there's no need for him. He is the ultimate stage setter, and I just believe that if we're going to take what he's given to us and set the stage for our days, that it helps us to begin with gratitude, that it helps us to begin in love. Love for not just yourself, but love for your family. Not just your family, but love for God's creation. Love for each other. It just sets the day to help you to find the peace, to be able to flow through without anxiety, without anxiousness, without fear, without worry. If you can begin in love, it's hard to be loving and fearful at the same time. Doesn't mean that you can't vacillate, and 1 minute you're in love and the next minute you're in fear. But it's almost impossible to occupy those emotions simultaneously. You're in love, but you're fearful all at the same time. And I just believe that if we're going to set the stage to have the type of lives that we want, and again, you don't get to the end without journeying through this day. We can't get to tomorrow until we get through this day. So this day represents the journey that the Creator has allowed us to navigate through. And I just believe that it's important that we recognize him and begin setting our stage in gratitude, with love, with appreciation for all that he's done. Maybe he hadn't done all that you would desire for him to do, but certainly he's done enough for us to just take a moment of time in the morning. And I'm not saying that, certainly it would benefit us, and it probably would please him if we spent an inordinate amount of time with him in the morning, appreciating him for all the things that he's done, not just for us, but for our loved ones, all the ways that he's protected us from danger seen and unseen, all the ways that he's comforted us when we were stressed out and losing our minds, or when we had lost a loved one, or when we had lost a job, or when we were wondering where would our next meal, or how would we pay our bills. The appreciation for all that he does for us. I just believe that if we're going to set the stage that ushers in his glory, that ushers in his favor, that lets him know that he's appreciated, that he's needed, that he has value, that we begin the day by setting the stage with appreciation. Appreciation for what he does, for who he is, for loving us enough to allow us the ability to love ourselves, to love others, to engage in this earth that we all inhabit. If we're going to set the stage, I just believe that right up front that we should begin by looking at the ultimate stage setter with the belief that he's aligning everything to work for our good. That everything, even the things that you don't understand, even the things that don't feel good, even the things that doesn't seem to be working out according to our plan. If you're going to set the stage to have the type of day that is peaceful and prosperous and joyful, then I just believe that it helps to begin with the belief that he's aligning everything so that it works together for our good. Again, first things first. There is no play without first setting the stage. And if we are the stage setters, if God has given us the responsibility after he has blessed us by giving us life, if then he says, okay, now it's time for you to set the stage. It's time for you to be accountable. It's time for, I've given you dominion. I've given you dominion. I've given you dominion. I've given you free will. I've given you choice. And that means that you have the ability to set the stage for the type of day that you desire. It's a journey, beloved. It's a journey. And again, I need you to understand that the beginning may not stop us from getting to the end, but it certainly has an impact on how enjoyable the journey is. And you know how it feels to be on a journey that seems to never be ending with somebody that's pessimistic, someone that's angry, someone that's mean, someone that you don't want to be around. So it helps us because none of us are traveling this journey alone. We're all interconnected with one another and to one another. So it helps us if we're going to be pleasant and the type of people that we would want to be around. It helps us to recognize that it's important to begin to set a stage that would manifest joy, that would manifest peace, that would manifest optimism, that would manifest the expectation for good, that would manifest the things that you want to occur on this journey, this day. Again, it may not stop you from getting to the end of the day, but it certainly impacts your perspective of the day, your perspective of the journey, whether you're up or whether you're down. And we can set those stages. We can manifest and build whatever we desire, but it helps if we do get first things right, first things first. And in setting the stage, we must begin to ask ourselves some real, reflective questions that would help us to be able to ascertain how truly are we starting our days? How are we truly setting the stage for either a productive and a positive day or a day where we're down in the dumps? We have to ask ourselves, what are we putting in us the first thing in the morning? When we wake up, what are we putting in us that would help us to have positive and productive days, that would help us to enjoy the day? What are you putting in? Beloved, I'm here to tell you that whatever you ingest becomes you. What are you putting in you? How are you setting the stage for the type of days that you want? Are you just allowing your days to be ruled and run by chance, hoping that something good happens so that you feel good? Or are you taking the responsibility that's given to us to set the stage to ensure that you're going to start on full? You may not end on full, but you certainly certainly have the ability to set the stage so that you start on full. What are you putting in you? What are the things that you say to yourself about you this day? When you wake up and start your journey, what things are you saying to you about this day? Are you saying to yourself, this is going to be a wonderful day? Or are you waking up complaining about something that happened yesterday, or worried about something that has yet to happen? How are you setting the stage for this particular part of the journey? Because again, beloved, each day is a journey in itself. What are you putting in? What are you saying to yourself? What are you saying to yourself about the outlook of this day, this particular part of the journey? What are the things you're putting in you? What are you saying to yourself about your character and the characteristics and the principles that you will embody this day? Are you telling yourself first thing in the morning, I'm honest and I'm going to be honest this day. I'm peaceful and I'm going to operate in a spirit of peace. I'm going to be compassionate today because that's just who I am. What are you saying to yourself? How are you setting the stage for the type of day that you want? What are you putting in you? Are you just saying, as it unfolds, it unfolds. And if there's a situation where I need to lie about something, then that's fine. If there's a situation that I need to cheat about something, that's fine. Are you allowing the situations and the circumstances of the day to define and to direct you? God is saying you get the ability to set the stage for what you want. You get the ability to set the stage for how you want this particular part of the journey to unfold for you. What are you putting in? First things first. What are you putting in? What are you saying to yourself? Another question that we must ask ourselves is, what am I listening to? What am I watching first thing in the morning? Because that sets the stage for the day. It sets the stage for this leg of the journey. What are you listening to? What are you watching first thing in the morning? Are those things that you're listening and watching adding fuel for you to be successful this day? Or are they aligning you with your purpose? What are you listening to? What are you watching? Because these things set the stage for ultimately how your day will certainly begin. Again, that's not to say we're trees and we don't get to change directions midways through the day, but it certainly helps if we can start with purpose. It certainly helps if we can start by expecting success this day. How are you setting the stage? Are you just saying actors come out and however it unfolds, it unfolds? Or are you deliberate in making sure that, one, you're putting in to yourself the things that would help you to be what you desire for this day to be? And two, that you are we've got to be careful. We get the responsibility of what we allow in these temples of ours. You don't have to listen to everything because it's popular and everybody else is listening to it. You don't have to watch everything on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. If it's not adding fuel to purpose, if it's not preparing you and setting the stage for success, why would you start your day like that? Why wouldn't you start your day with things that's going to fill you up, that's going to build you up, that's going to tell you, I can, that's going to tell you, it will? Why wouldn't you start the day by setting the stage for upward mobility? Why wouldn't you start the day by setting the stage so that it produces joy? What are you listening to? How are you setting the stage in the morning? What are you listening to? What are you watching? Is it building you up? Or is it draining the fuel that, maybe you're not a morning person and you don't have a whole lot of energy when you wake up in the first place. And then if you go and listen to something that's going to drain what little energy you have, then how can you expect to have the type of day that says, here I am, look at me. I am a witness that God can, that God will, that in spite of, I am. And it's moving according to his will. If you don't have the energy because you've allowed others to inject negativity, you allow others to inject foolishness into your morning, into how you're setting the stage, then how can you expect to have a positive and a productive day filled with joy, filled with optimism, filled with peace? How can... There are some things that we just shouldn't leave for chance. Yeah, we play Monopoly and we pull the cards, the chance cards, but setting the stage for how your day, how this part of your journey is going to unfold shouldn't be one of those things that you just leave up for chance. What are you putting in? What are you allowing others to put in by what you're watching or what you're listening to first thing in the morning? And then another question that we must ask ourselves is, who are you allowing to impact the beginning of your mornings, the beginnings of your days? Who are you spending time with? What's their demeanor? Are they positive or are they negative? Again, we're all vibrational. So if I'm constantly around negativity, guess what? It's going to jump off of them and it's going to jump on me. But if I'm around people that inspire me and motivate me and tell me that I can, then guess what? That's going to jump off of them and it's going to jump on me too. Who are you spending your mornings with, and what are they ingesting or injecting into you? How are you setting your stage? How are you setting the stage for this day? Because again, many of us are wondering why we're not moving at the pace that we desire, but a lot of it is because we're just willy-nilly with how we are setting the stage for our days. We're just leaving it up to chance. We're just, hoping that we can overcome everything that is out there that we're big and bad enough to allow into our space. And that's taking the hard way. You don't have to prove that you're super tough. You don't have to prove that you're super strong. No, prove that you're wise. Prove that you've taken the accountability and you can appreciate God giving you the responsibility of setting the stage, recognizing that as it starts, it can get momentum. So if you start with good, that good gains momentum and you'll find good manifesting itself throughout the day. But if you start crappy, then guess what? You're going to go to the office crappy. Somebody's going to pull out in front of you, and because you already started out in a crappy mood, next thing you know, you're cursing them out. Maybe they can't hear you, but your whole morning has been impacted simply because you failed to set the stage of this part of your journey. You just allowed anybody to inject any type of negativity, whether it was things that you were watching or things that you were listening to, and now you're wondering why. Why my day seems to be going like this. Why it seems as if everything is just out of whack. Because many times you're not taking the gift that God has given us, which is dominion, to be able to set the stage, and you're not setting the stage in a manner that is conducive to producing the type of days that you would desire. Who are you allowing to impact the beginning of your days? Just questions that I can't answer them for you. God has given me the information to share with you, but these are things, this is why it's an individual journey. We travel with others, and we're all interconnected, but another can't set the stage for you. That they can contribute, and they can inject positivity or negativity, but ultimately it's your responsibility to set the stage for the type of day that you desire. Are they adding gas to your this part of the journey? Are they building you up? Are they adding fuel to your life, or are they draining you? Are they positive? Are they positive and optimistic? Or do they start the day complaining about what is missing or what is lacking? How are you setting the stage Because, beloved, I'm here to tell you that you can build whatever you desire. You can, God has given us the ability to manifest whatever desire that we have. But there are some principles to doing this thing. I heard it say success leave clues so that we're not having to continually recreate the wheel. There are principles that govern this thing. And God said, if you want the middle to be right, it helps to start right. And if you start right and you get the middle right, then it might help you to end right. But it all begins with how you start. The beginning of the sentence impacts the meaning of the sentence. The first day of the week impacts the rest of the week. So God is saying, set the stage. Set the stage. Examine how you are currently setting the stage, because a life that's not worth examining is a life that's not worth living. And it makes no sense to complain about things that is in your control to change. And God is saying you full well have the capacity and the ability and the know-how to set the stage so that this part of the journey at least have a greater chance of manifesting the desire that you would want. What is your outlook about this particular part of your journey this day? Do you wake up with the expectations that it's going to be a good day? Do you wake up feeling like today is my day? And I'm grateful for the people that are around me because I get to impact them. They get to impact me. I get to love on them. They get to love on me. I get to contribute to the world, and the world gets to ingest things in me. Well, how are you seeing this day? Because each and every day is a separate leg of the journey. And too many of us are like a leaf tossed to and fro in the wind. One day we're up, next day we're down. Half of the day we feel good, the other half of the day we just allowing the problems of the world to weigh us down. You get to decide. You don't get to decide what happened to you, but you certainly get to decide how you will deal with what happens to you. What is your outlook about this journey, this day, this gift called the present? How are you setting the stage? How are you setting the stage? What is your outlook? What are your perspectives about this day? Do you start positive? Do you start optimistic? That today's leg of the journey will work out for my good? How are you starting today? And sometimes I'll tell you, beloved, I'm not immune from not setting the stage myself. I have mornings where I wake up and my mind is clouded with all the things, all the challenges, all the problems, all the difficulties that I'm dealing with. And so I'm not exempt from God saying to me, hey, brother, hey, my son, hey, teacher. You teach others, but you too need to do a better job on some days of setting the stage so that you too might manifest the type of day that you desire. You're not exempt. And I hope that I never present myself as being exempt from some of the things that I share with you, because as he shares with me, I have to stand there right before him and say, yeah, you got me. Yeah, I need improvement in that area too. Yeah, I haven't apprehended either, and I'm on this journey just as everybody else, and I can appreciate you reminding me, because in reminding me, it allows me to remind others that we get to set the stage for the type of, for this leg of the journey. And that happens for us each and every morning. What is your outlook for today? Are you flexible, knowing that you might encounter some detours? Or are you so rigid that the first detour that you encounter, it just destroys your whole day? The first person that's negative, the first person that doesn't smile, the first person that looks at you mean mugging you, the first person that is rude, do you allow that to derail your entire day? He said, no, set the stage and recognize that you've got to have some flexibility to understand that we don't live in a perfect world. And people are going to be people just as you are. And they're going to be people that exude, wonderful traits. And there are going to be people that exude, traits that are less desirable. But you have to be flexible in knowing that you're going to encounter some detours. It may have nothing to do with anyone else, and you may have to detour from a way that you had decided was the way that you were going to travel today. Not because anybody else did anything, but because God revealed something to you that now says, the way that I was going, there's a better way. Maybe he's having to protect me from something, but I was dead set on going that way, and him and his love and a protection. This is why we should begin by setting the stage with appreciation for what he does for us, gratitude for what he does for us, love for him for all that he does for us, the things that we know and the things we not know, because there are so many times that he protects us and we have no idea. There are so many times that we put the keys down and can't find the keys, and it makes us 5 minutes later than what we were going to be, and it's just his way of protecting us from something that was, had we been 5 minutes earlier, we would have gotten caught up into something that might have been detrimental to us. So all the things that happen in life, we only know in part. So we should begin by recognizing that the ultimate stage setter, this is how we should begin. Setting our stage by recognizing him who sets all of our stage. And then, after we've given acknowledgement and gratitude and appreciation and love for all that he does, then it's time for us to begin to set our stage by recognizing and asking ourselves, what am I putting into myself this day? Who am I allowing to impact the first part of my morning? Who am I spending time with? Are they positive or negative? Are they adding to or taking away? Are they fueling me up or tearing me down? How do I see this day? Am I optimistic about what's happening today? Am I flexible enough to know that even if there's a detour, it all works together for my good? It's all working together for my good. It's all working together for my good. Another question that we must ask ourselves, again, because we're not traveling these journeys alone. Yeah, we may be single. Yeah, we may be empty nesters. Yeah, the kids may be gone, and we're our own responsibilities. We have no responsibility for kids. We have no responsibility for grandkids. We have no responsibility for other family members. It's just I'm responsible for myself. But even in those scenarios, you're not traveling alone, because there are people that love you. There are people that you love. There are people that you're going to interact with that is going to be instrumental in terms of you getting to your desired destination. And because this is the case, in setting the stage, we must also ask ourselves, what are we putting into others that may be traveling this journey with us? How are we impacting others? How are my actions? How is my demeanor? How are the words that I'm speaking? How is the way that I'm carrying myself this morning impacting others? Because just as others impact us, we have the ability to impact others. And if we're going to set the stage and recognize that we're not traveling alone, then it behooves us to make sure that we're positively impacting those that must travel this journey with us. It's not just about us. Contrary to popular opinion and popular belief, it's not just about us. It's bigger than us. It's bigger than us. And we get ourselves in trouble when we think that it's just about us. How and what are you putting in others that will help them along their journey this day? Are you helping them set a better stage for their part of the journey? Or are you walking around with the mindset that it ain't my responsibility to set your stage? That's your responsibility. It's not about whether it's your responsibility or not. I heard it once said that if you can, you must. So if you can add positivity to someone else, then you must. If you can, you must. If you can help them to see beyond their circumstances, then you must. If you can help them to point their ship in a better direction, then you must. If you can help them to recognize that they too are more than conquerors, then you must. How are you impacting others that travel the journey with you? Are you optimistic, helping them feel better about the day? Upbeat? Are you pessimistic and bringing them down with all the problems that in many cases are even out of our control? Many times we're complaining about things that's out of our control. Life happens. It unfolds for all of us. And there are seasons to this thing called life. Summer, fall, winter, spring. And in each season there's something specific that brings both pleasure and pain, discomfort, inconveniences. But if you think that, none of these things are going to happen to you, and it's not your responsibility when others are dealing with difficulties to lift them up, then you're not setting a stage where God can look down and say, well done, my son, well done, my daughter. I'm pleased with you. You're not setting that stage because selfishness is not of God. And if it's only about whether or not it's your responsibility, then you've missed the mark. It's going to be difficult for you to set a stage that produces the outcome that would benefit not only you, but benefit everybody's in the car. Everybody's in the car. You don't get to split the car, and everybody's in the car. And it becomes, it just benefits all of us if we recognize that we're all in the car. This is why, unless you've got headphones, when the radio comes on in the car, everybody hears the car. Everybody hears the music. Because we're all in this thing together. So then we must ask ourselves, what are we putting in others to help them set a better stage for their day so that they too might manifest what they desire of this day? Again, I'm just of the opinion and the belief, because God has given it to me, that if we start the day, if we start each leg of our journeys, which represents each day's, full in faith, it makes it easier for us to be at peace. If I start the day, filled up, operating in faith, feeling like, today is my day. I'm expecting good things to happen today. Then it helps me to be at peace. It helps me not to be so anxious. It helps me to not be fearful. It helps me to recognize that it's all working together for my good. It helps me to be on purpose. It helps me to be excited about the day. See, because in life there's always two choices. I can be at peace, or I can be agitated to the dickens, anxious and nervous that everything is going to happen bad to me. Always two options, two sides of the stick. I can operate in purpose, or I can just float, and whatever happens, happens, and be oblivious to it. I can be excited about the day, or I can be pessimistic about the day. We get to set the stage. God said that's you. I got you, but there's some responsibility. That there's some things that you have to do if you want these outcomes. And I just believe that if you are at peace, if you're operating on purpose, if you're excited about the day, that it makes it easier to be around you. It makes it easier to be around people that people can look and say, I don't know what you're going through, but and I can see that there's problems going on in your life, but how are you still so optimistic about your future? How are you still so positive about today? How can you be at peace when it seems as if everything around you is falling? It's because you've set a stage. You've begun the day by setting a stage that helps you to endure the challenges of life, that helps you to recognize that life is filled with detours, and I've got to be flexible because it's not what happens to me, it's how I respond to those things that happen to me. So, beloved, I'm just saying, it helps us if we're going to set the stage for what we desire. To set a stage that is capable of manifesting truly what we desire. And make no mistake about it. Life is a journey. Life is a journey. Each day is a journey that's filled with highs and lows, that filled with joys and sadness. This is why in the book of Ecclesiastes they say there is a time and season for everything under the sun. Time for weeping, time for laughing, time for mourning, time for celebrating, time to be up, time to be down, time to live and a time to die, time to love and a time to pull away. And it's in knowing these things that helps us to, in spite of them, to be at peace, to not be so moved by the things that happen, to allow us to set the stage that fortifies us, that girds us in knowing that all things are working together for my good, even though I may not understand it, even though it may seem as if I'm stagnated, even if it feels as if the world is falling apart. I have set the stage to know that this too shall pass, and I'm more than a conqueror, and God hasn't given me more than I can handle, and he would not have brought me this far just to leave me. You've got to set the stage that helps you to be what you want to be, beloved. You've got to set the stage that helps the day to unfold in the way that you would desire for it to unfold. Make no mistake about it. The goal has to be, most of us confuse this thing, and we think that the goal should be about getting to the destination. But it makes no sense to sacrifice the joy of the journey because you're so fixated on the destination that you can't even enjoy the journey. Because, beloved, I'm here to tell you that not everybody gets to the destination. There are people dying every day. Just look around. Right here in America, there's 150,000 people that started this year with absolutely no idea that they were going to die from COVID. Didn't get to reach some destinations, but many of them probably didn't reach the destinations that they had planned at the beginning of the year. And it would have been a shame if they had sacrificed the joy of the journey, throwing it aside as if it's unimportant because the destination is all that they can see. The destination is all that's important. The goal should be to enjoy the journey, beloved. Helping those that are around us enjoy the journey. I'm not saying, be complacent and don't live on purpose and don't have a zeal for reaching destinations. And no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the joy of life is in enjoying the journey. The joy of life is in enjoying the journey. See, because a 500-mile journey is a 500-mile journey. And you can't just magically snap your fingers and be there. It's going to take time. It's going to take time. To go from here to California in a car, it's just... the physics around that is just going to take time. But if I got to wait to get to California to begin to enjoy myself, then I've let a lot of moments just bypass that I'll never get again. Maybe I'm in a car accident and never get to California, but again, it would be a shame to have spent 4 days in the car with loved ones traveling to California and not have enjoyed the journey of the experiences of getting there, the joys in the journey, beloved. And we get to set the stage to ensure that each and every leg of the journey, we're living passionately, on purpose, with intent, enjoying the moment. And I'm just here to say that you can enjoy the moment. There's no cost to laugh. There's no price that you have to pay to laugh. There's no price that you have to pay. You don't have to go to the store, and you don't need to go to Kroger to buy optimism. You don't need to go to Publix to buy optimism. No. These things are just things that you get to decide. Set the stage. You get to enjoy the journey. Now, whether you take that responsibility and set the stage so that it manifests itself, that's completely up to you. But you have the ability, and again, if you can, and if it's truly a desire to have better, to build better, to manifest better, to experience better, then I just believe that it helps to set the stage in the beginning that is capable of producing what you desire. I thank you, beloved, for tuning in this day for this part of the conversation. I hope that I've said something that was truly helpful and beneficial, that you can apply to your life in a practical way, that it might help you to, in spite of what we go through, in spite of the difficulties, in spite of the things that we desire that hadn't materialized yet, to help us to continue to move forward with positivity. Help us to continue to move forward in faith. Help us to continue to move forward, recognizing that truly there's only two options. I can be excited and happy about what's going on, or I can decide that I'm going to be pessimistic and negative about what's going on. And when you think about it, what does negativity and pessimism really produce that's beneficial to us? Because we're still going to have to go through this part of the journey. There's no escaping today unless we just kill ourselves. But to get to tomorrow, we've got to go through today. And I just believe that if we got to go through this day, why not choose the things that make us feel good about today? And that's within all of our power. So again, thank you for giving me just a few moments of your time. I hope that truly the words have been inspiring and enlightening and have helped provide perspective that would help you to begin to shape your life into manifesting what you truly desire in and of life. Until we meet again, enjoy the remainder of your evening. Again, love on those that you get the opportunity to love on, because we just never know. The Bible says no one knows the time nor the hour when we shall be called out of this earth. And if we can't, dictate and determine when that time is, I just believe that it behooves us to take every opportunity and to love on those that we get to love on as hard as we can, as often as we can. You can't say I love you enough. You can't show love too much. Just can't. And if those that you desire to show it to are is not in a position mentally, spiritually, or physically to receive it, then there's a lot of people in the world that's looking for love. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of people looking for love, and so there's no excuse to say, well, I tried to love them, but they wouldn't allow me to love, so I'm just going to bottle my love up and I'm not going to share it with anyone. No. You're bigger than that. And life is bigger than that. And you get to set the stage for the awesome life that God has created you to live. The awesome places he's created you to go. The awesome people that he's created you to be in the presence of. But you have to set the stage. He does his part. He said, will you do yours? Because if you will, there's nothing that you can't have. Until next time, beloved, I love you and goodbye.